What is going on, everyone? All right, so happy Thursday. If it's the first time you're hearing, make sure to hit that subscribe. And as always, drop your comments. All right, so we're going to talk about a few quick things. Nothing that much, but just a few things that I do want to talk about because it's kind of interesting. First things first, let's start off with talking about Venom 3. So apparently, Venom 3, they're getting early screenings, and a lot of people are enjoying them. They're saying that it's in the high eights and nines, meaning that it's very entertaining, and they classify it among other high movies and stuff like that. So that's a very good thing. Hey, what's going on, Geek Defense? Appreciate you watching. So that's cool to see and to hear because Venom 2 was a different take, honestly. I like with what they did. They had what do you call this Carnage, but we got what we got, and it is what it is. But here we are and stuff like that. I can't do the join anymore because I'm already going live. But hit me up on a PM, and then we'll schedule that for next time if anything. Because once I go live, it's kind of hard, to send the invites and stuff because the options how I have them set up. But this is interesting with this whole Venom. Hopefully something sets up really really nice with from what they're saying, like with the rumors. I'm not saying that it's official, but apparently Spider-Man will be coming out and something big is going to be happening with this whole thing with Venom 3. So that's good. I'm excited to see this and where it's going to go. What's up, Sean? I appreciate you watching. Appreciate everybody that's watching and stuff like that. So we're just going to talk about a few things, not that much. This stream's probably going to be short, but yeah, this is something interesting with this whole Venom 3. So that's looking good, and it's good to hear that it's actually going to be something nice and different than what we got with the previous film. That whole what it was Let There Be Carnage, or the last one that we got. It was okay, but could have been a lot better, and it sucks how they got rid of Carnage on that one. But it is what it is. All right, so let's talk about this whole thing with Henry Cavill that apparently Amazon is going to be working with to do and make Voltron. Apparently, this is going to be a live action. This is pretty nice, like I like Voltron, and if you know me, I'm into mechs and I love all those like big robots and stuff like that. This is pretty dope, to see if Henry Cavill is going to be on it. That's something nice. It's going to be a different take, and good to see him like play other roles besides, of course, he will always be my Superman. A lot of people can relate with that, and like I've been fighting and talking about it still. In due time, we will get the Snyderverse, and I know we will get Henry Cavill back to reprise the role. Now, this is interesting. Like I said, Voltron, it's pretty cool. And to see that Henry Cavill is going to be part of this, this is going to be a nice big production. Apparently this came out today, and this is nice. It's just I'm excited to see that. Hopefully something good comes from it. Hopefully it does get made, because we know that a lot of things with Henry Cavill tend to, like, not his fault, but it's just how Hollywood is. This whole thing with The Witcher, what happened with that and stuff like that. Then the same thing with what is it, this I think it's Warhammer, the 3000 or something like that. I mean, I just hope something really good comes from this, and it's just not like pulling our tails, in the sense where, like, oh, this is gonna be happening, and then at the end it doesn't happen. I'm excited. I want to see Henry Cavill back again, and besides Superman, I want to see him in other projects, and I just want to see him like how we saw him over in Marvel with Wolverine and Deadpool. When we saw him as a variant of Wolverine, that was pretty cool. Seeing him, who would have thought that that was gonna actually happen? Like, I was surprised, but at the same time, when that picture leaked of him and the rumor was going around that he was apparently with, talks with Marvel and stuff, a lot of us didn't believe in. I was one of them. I was like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. But there's always a possibility, and that possibility actually happened, and it came true, and that's good. I'm actually excited to see this, and hopefully something good from that comes up from all this that's going on. All right, so moving on to the next topic, let's talk about this whole thing with what's going on with the DCU and what James Gunn is coming out and saying, and the same lies as always. But at the same time, we already see that Aaron Pierre is the one that's casted to play in this upcoming, show of Green Lantern or Lanterns, whatever they want to call it. Um, Honestly, look, man, like again, this is another missed opportunity from James Gunn, from WB, and from DC because they could have just brought in, Wayne T. Carr to reprise his role. And even though we never saw that, officially released in the Snyder Cut, we know the pictures are out there. We've seen the behind the scenes, and it's out there. We know that it's real. We know that it exists, and this again was a missed opportunity that James Gunn could have brought in Wayne T. Carr and say, you know what, we're gonna have you play Green Lantern and just do your part, like whatever it is, with this character John Stewart. Again, it's just so many missed opportunities with this studio. It's just like, what are they really thinking? A lot of people are saying, and they're starting to come to the conclusion where like they just don't see this vision happening. They're like, this is just not going to fully take off like James Gunn's trying to plan, and how the studio's trying to set up and give us, because a lot of fans are not accepting this. And call me what you want to call me, say what you want to say, but there's no excitement. Honestly, there's no excitement with DC, and with the projects they're putting out, the games they're working on, what they've done. The cinematic universe is a mess right now, and everything is just unstable. In the sense where it's like it's hard to be a fan. And then of course you have this comic that's, I guess, is finally releasing, I think this week or this weekend, something like that, with the Absolute. That whole thing with Batman, the new versions that they're doing with Superman, Wonder Woman. I'm not a fan of that. Like I seen pictures of it and stuff like that from the comic, but okay, so what? Now they're making officially Batman like kill. So everybody that says, well, Batman doesn't kill, he's doing it in this comic. He literally, like, go look at the images and you'll see, like, this is hardcore. They're literally taking Batman to another level where people are gonna be like, oh, well, he's not supposed to do that. He's doing it literally in this comic. It's pretty insane. So that's that when it comes to the comic. And again, that big old bat logo, I'm just not feeling it, honestly. But this whole thing with John Stewart, with this actor, I mean, he's probably a good actor. I've never seen any of his work. But again, I'm just not interested in this whole DCU and the route that they want to go with and stuff like that. It's pretty wild. It's just nuts, honestly. And I don't know. I don't know what else to think of. And this is crazy because a while ago we could have had already the lanterns within the Snyderverse, and of course, thanks to Jeff Johns and all of these people that made it difficult for Zach, they got what they wanted. They completely ruined the plans and the path for Zack Snyder while he was over there at DC, and they just screwed everything up. And like, remember, the lanterns were supposed to be in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but of course the studio, doing what the studio does best, screw things up and mess around with last minute things. They did what they did, and they brought in Marvin Manhunter, Martian Manhunter. You always confuse that character. But it is what it is. We got what we got, and in the end, again, when they see and look, literally, just looking down the path of what DC is doing with everything, everything is just going straight down flop hill. Honestly, like everything is just gonna go and it's just gonna tank. A lot of people are trying to be like, oh well, now it's when the DC is officially gonna kick off and it's gonna be good. The change is gonna be good. No, it's not. Just prepare. It's only gonna get worse. It didn't work in 2023 with everything they put out. It's not working with 2024 with what they're putting out. Look at how bad Joker 2 is doing worse than the Marvels. It's doing the worst of any comic book movie in the theaters with the run and stuff like that. It's so bad. You guys have probably seen video. There's actual video of a movie theater taking down the poster because they're not making profit and they're not making sales with Joker 2. So that tells you a lot. And they replaced it with some anime poster of a new anime movie that's coming out. I can't remember right now from the top of my head, but that tells you a lot. It's like the fans are not eating it, they're not buying it, they're not supporting it, and the fans have agreed all over. We're just boycotting. This movie should have never been a musical, and that's what it is. It's a musical, and it's just crazy. And then James Gunn goes and picks and chooses what he wants to label as DC Studios. So Joker 2 is not DC Studios, but the Batman is DC Studios. Penguin is DC Studios. It's crazy. You see what I'm saying? Like he's just picking and choosing. But I, as a DC fan and as a consumer, in the end, it doesn't matter. Label it how you want to, rebrand it how you want to, but overall, it's still a WB/DC project. I don't care what you want to put. You want to put DC Studios or not, it's still the same crap to me, honestly. And it just doesn't appeal to me, and it doesn't get my attention. I just won't watch it. And a lot of fans are agreeing, and they're coming together. This is why this movie is completely flopping at the box office. It's sad to see that, but we already knew that that was going to happen once they announced that this was going to be a reboot. We knew that things were going to go south, and it's crazy, like the studio sits here again thinking that they can give us, the customer, right, the paying consumer, what they feel is best for us to accept and to watch. It doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work like that. That's why heading now into what James Gunn is trying to prepare and trying to build up with his old DCU, it's just gonna be completely the next flop. Superman's going to be the next big flop, and they know it, like they just don't want to accept it. But the fact is the fact that it's going to tank, and it's just the consumer is just tired. Honestly, as a fan, a lot of us are tired. The general audience is tired. They're exhausted. The fans and the audience don't want to go, especially the general audience. When you have these studios trying to say, well, this is okay for the fans, but mainly we're trying to give it to the general audience. The general audience does not have the time to go and read a comic book. The general audience doesn't care about, well, this universe connects into this one, but this one's a multiverse, but this one goes that way. Oh, but parts of this one connect, and then this is a reboot. People don't have time for that. People just want to know, okay, why is this character not there anymore? What happened to Henry Cavill? Why are we getting a new Superman? Like, what's going on? No, it's another reboot. What? We just had a reboot, and we're going to another reboot. It just confuses the audience, so people tend to get tired of that, and it's caught on. Like the general audience, the fans, everyone can agree that it's just everyone's just tired of it, honestly. And now heading into this whole Superman, if you want to say, look at what it's becoming. Somebody just came out recently and they spoke about it, and they're like, "Oh, we were on the set. They showed us footage and we seen it." And they're like, "Oh, this is gonna be a lot like, what is it, Justice League International?" And that's what it is. Clearly, a lot of us have been saying it, been speculating, and that's exactly what this is going to be. It's gonna be heavy influenced by Justice League International. And this is what I see that James Gunn is trying to prepare and trying to give everybody. Again, Superman is not going to be a Superman movie. It's just going to be everybody in a Superman movie. Because again, James Gunn knows that his days are numbered over at WB. The studio knows that things are not going to work out and go the way as they expect is going to be. So what I'm thinking is speculating is the following. Plain and simple, they know that everything is about to tank. So since James Gunn is in charge, they're like, do what you want to do, and if it works, it works. But deep down inside WB and the heads and those executive and those investors, they're all probably nervous, and they're all like right now like shaking, saying, "We know this is gonna be bad, but it is what it is. Let's just go with it because of course a contract." And once Superman comes up, they're not going to make the same numbers that they're predicting or expecting. And they're again going to do the same like with Joker 2. They're going to give all these low expectations. So if the movie surpasses the number, let's say for example, they're like, oh, we're only gonna probably we're expecting to make like between 80 to 100,000. They know that it's going to flop. So they're gonna be like, you know what, it's okay. We have to accept it. But if the movie makes 400 million, it's going to be considered a massive win. You see what I'm saying? Because they're going to try to use that, reverse psychology in the sense where it's like, oh, we only predicted that we're going to make 100,000 to 500,000. Yeah, you're trying to lowball it. So when it releases and it makes a high 200 million, 300 million, it's like, oh wow, you guys surpassed the number that you thought and you wanted. So they're gonna come out with these lies, and then again, the number one movie in America is the number one movie in theaters right now playing is. They're gonna come out with the same thing. The best thing since the Dark Knight, you know. So they're gonna come out with those same little tricks, and we know what's up. The true fans know exactly what to expect, and we already know how their little games are. But honestly, Superman needs to make over $1 billion for it to be a success. And it won't. It won't. If Joker 2 could not, with Lady Gaga, make a billion, it's not going to. Neither will Superman, honestly. And what I see now, what they're trying to do over at WB and DC with HBO Max is they're going to try to focus more on their streaming service. And you can see it because they can get away with so much on the streaming service, and they can lie to the audience because they're gonna be like, oh, well, you have these many viewers watching, and in reality they don't, because we don't see the numbers the same. Like, on YouTube you could see how many people are watching your stuff because it's there, unless you disable it, but you can see how many people are watching your videos. The same thing with your shorts and who's interacting and stuff like that. So you can't really hide that. But when you're streaming and you like HBO Max or Netflix or Disney Plus, you can make all these numbers up. Like, you don't have to report that. You can just make and say, look, 2 billion people are watching this, and in reality they only have like less than a million people watching. So they can get away with that. They can fix numbers and like just pretend to have the audience fooled and stuff like that. But in the end, we already know where this is all headed. It's just, we're on a roll. We've been on a roll since 2023. All those movies that flopped. 2024, these movies are flopping, and 2025 is no exception, because we the fans have had enough. Is enough is enough. We don't want to accept what they think that's best for us. We know what's good for us. We know what's best for us. But in the end, the studios are just gonna have to learn the hard way, and they're learning it. And then on top of that, you have the investors that are probably upset. They're losing so much money. They're not really making their return on investment, and it's just to the point where it's like, all right, so what's next? Well, you already know what's next. Either two things: either you guys are gonna sell very soon because things are looking very bad for you, or B, just go ahead and just restore the Snyderverse, because that's your only option. And in reality, that's where I see everything that's heading. And with this whole thing of that rumor that I said that we're gonna be having Comcast, when they recently announced it, that it was a rumor that they wanted Zach back and they want to do projects with David Ayer for alternative DC shows on their streaming service. Those are the signs telling you, hey, we're preparing something behind the scenes. Just keep doing what you're doing to the fans, meaning, like, if all these shows keep on flopping and tanking, then we got something special being cooked for you, but you just don't know it yet. Because of course, negotiations and it's always about money and stuff like that, contracts and things. So probably that's what's happening right now. They're seeing the long road ahead, and we see it, that everything is flopping. Superman will not be an exception, honestly. That's why James Gunn's right now pacing left and right, trying to cram every character that he can, because he knows that his days are numbered at DC Studios. He knows that when Superman comes out, majority of the fans are not going to go watch it. It's real talk. Let's be honest. Joker 2 had so many expectations, and how many people are right now not watching it, or are just completely walking out in the theaters because they're tired of it. They're like, we didn't want this, you still did it. And even whoever's to blame, the studio, the director, the actor, whoever it is, the Joker is already, Joker 2 is a mess. That's it, period. There's no fixing it. Not even a director's cut would fix it, because you already have Lady Gaga, and it's nothing but musicals. That's what it is. It's a musical. I knew the moment that they had said, oh, this is going to be a musical, but it's really not going to be a musical. I was like, yeah, this already sounds terrible. That tells you, when they're in the interview, of how they think it's going to be, but it's really not going to be. But in the end, we do get it. Yeah, we know that the studio loves to lie. And of course, Todd Phillips can't say nothing because he's under an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. He can't talk about these things. The same like David Ayer couldn't talk at the time. Remember, I know everybody remembers when we got the studio squad from David Ayer. What do I mean? The WB version of Suicide Squad. What happened? David Ayer was everywhere. He was like, yeah, this is my final cut. This was my true vision, this and that, blah, blah. He was taking all the heat, and everybody was like, what? Like, how is this going to be like your final vision? Then time passed, I think what, like probably a few years later, probably like 5 years later or something, and he finally broke silence. David Ayer himself said it in interviews to multiple people, all these outlets. He was like, no, WB told me to say that, and I was under an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. So what he had to do, he had to take heat for that Studio Squad movie. That was what WB wanted. And that's why that movie did bad at the box office in the sense for WB, because for us the fans, that movie made what, like over 700 million or something like that. So it was still high. I think 500 million something. I know it was high. And then the same thing happened with Justice League. Again, the studio got in the way and they were like, "Oh, this is Zack's true vision." No, it's not. Zack stepped away. So what did the studio do? Try to wash their hands. How do we know that right now the studio is not doing the same thing with Todd Phillips? Probably Todd Phillips was like, you know what? I told you guys I didn't want to do a second part to Joker. And what did he do? He probably made the Joker the way it is. He probably got together with Joaquin and they were like, you know what? Screw this. They want us to do this and we're not gonna do that. Let's just screw it for them. You get what you freaking deserve. And that's what probably the final product is, There's no director's cut that would save Joker 2 right now the way that it is right now. And it's crazy, it's really nuts. And the damage is already done, it's too damaged to be repaired. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, now with James Gunn and, like this whole DCU, this whole reboot is necessary. We need it. Okay. Okay. You want to do your little reboot? Go for it. But don't think that the fans are not going to forget and forgive. We are going to make Superman and everything that James Gunn is putting out tank. Not because we want that to happen, but we want to send the studio the message saying, hey, you've been toying with us for so long. Now it's our turn to send you the financial message. Look, we're not going to take what you feel was best for us, the fans. We know what we want. Majority of us want the Snyderverse to be restored. Majority of us want David Ayer's Suicide Squad to be released, the Ayer cut. Is the studio listening to us? No. We fought hard and we fought together and we pressured WB to give us the Snyder cut, and that's why we have it. And don't come here and try to tell me, look, we needed content, this and that, blah blah blah. Yes, they needed content, and they still capitalized on it. So at the same time, WB was like, you know what? Let's look out for our own interests. We'll probably gain subscribers. Exactly. That's what happened. They gained subscribers, and look at where it's at right now. We actually have it on physical media. Amazing, the Snyder cut, the one that everybody would say it would never happen. And the same thing is next. All these toxic James Gunn fans are, you know what? You guys ain't gonna get your David Ayer Suicide Squad. We will get it. It's just a matter of time. That's all. And you see more people being vocal about it, talking online everywhere and stuff like that. And you can see the numbers at the box office. People are tired. Why is Joker 2 tanking? It's flopping because people don't want that type of movie. They thought WB thought that by bringing in Lady Gaga, oh wow, we're gonna make so much money, because Lady Gaga and her followers, probably those are the only ones that went to go see the movie, because the majority of the fans, they're not watching it, they're not supporting it, and it sucks. But again, the studio has done this to themselves. They can't blame nobody else but themselves. But it is what it is. What can we do? We as fans continue to express and be vocal, and we do what we got to do. That's all, But in the end, nothing that's without Zack Snyder, sadly. And the fact is that without Zack Snyder at DC with the cinematic universe, nothing is paying off. Nothing is paying off, honestly. Again, I repeat myself. This is why Netflix continues to win, because they have Zack. They treat them right. They give the fans what they want. Hey, take your time. Do what you got to do. We got Rebel Moon 1 and 2, PG-13 and rated R. You pick and choose which one of the two you want to watch. There, you can pick and choose. The same thing with Army of the Dead. You want to go see that? Go watch it. And I'm sure there's more content, especially now that Zack is working on doing that. What is it? UFC, the movie that they're working on, stuff like that. I mean, come on. If Zack, look at this. Let's look at the fact, reality, people. Accept the fact. This is why people are just sometimes they're delusional. They don't want to accept the reality. If Zack Snyder wasn't a hot name, right, or a brand himself, then why is the company of UFC approaching him and wanting, and now they're going to make a live action movie about UFC? And UFC is not a little brand. UFC now owns WWE. You see what I'm saying? And they're going to be streaming in January on Netflix. So triple the win. UFC wins, Zach wins, the fans win, and Netflix win. Wow, you have quadruple the win. See what I'm saying? So Zack Snyder's hot, and WB knows it, and I'm sure they're crying a river and regretting that they didn't continue anything with him. Marvel knows what's up too, but probably Zack is not interested. I mean, he's expressed and say, yeah, he would do stuff, if he was allowed to and stuff, but he's chilling on Netflix. So you see what I'm saying? And then now WB is reaching out for him to do that 300 prequel, that series or whatever. So what does that tell you? That WB is desperate and they want that Netflix money. And of course, WB is also probably crying somewhere, and they're like, "Man, I want that Marvel money." Well, stop being like Marvel and be like DC more, and your fans will support you. But again, it is what it is. They've done this to themselves. James Gunn is not the solution. The whole Marvel formula is not the solution. It hasn't worked. It's not working, and it will never work here at DC. And that's why, like, as a passionate fan that I am, and besides the whole Zack Snyder and Snyderverse and stuff like that, or David Ayer, me as a DC fan, I want the best for this company. But don't give me what you think is best. And don't try to copy Marvel. Stop that. Like, it didn't work and it will never work. I'm telling you guys, the moment we get the trailer for Superman, soon, because I'm sure we're gonna get it sometime before the holidays of this year. Before this end of the year, we're probably gonna get a little like teaser or a trailer. You better get ready because those dislikes, a lot of people are going to hit a dislike, and don't be surprised. WB might disable the dislike button, the same how Disney tries to do it. When they don't want you to dislike something, that shows you that they're scared. That shows you that they know the power of the fans. When they hide and try to put that aside and put it away, that's just speaking to you, telling you, oh, the studio's scared. They know what's up with the fans. They've done it with what Star Wars. They've done it with so many movies over at Disney and stuff like that. So that should be a big red flag saying, hey, this is this is a little bit funny. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people are ready to hit that dislike, because it's about sending the message. Yo, you guys tried us. You did us dirty with the Snyderverse. Now it's our turn to do it to you. See what I'm saying? And it's just wild, honestly. It really is. And as a DC fan, I just want good content. That's it. And nothing is coming out is good. That's why I refuse to watch Joker 2 because I already saw the ending. I didn't need to go see it, honestly. It already leaked online. It is what it is. And I was like, that's all I wanted to see. And it's sad. It's sad what they've done with Joker 2. But again, WB has done this and they keep allowing it. So, this is where we're at, man. That's what happens and stuff. So, all right. So, drop your comments because I got a few more minutes. We'll hang out and I'm about to get going. Like I said, this wasn't going to be a long live stream. This is just going to be pretty quick, just talking about those things and stuff. So, hey, what's going on, Daniel? Appreciate you watching. Prototype Batfleck suit was better than what we got in the Flash. Yeah, those pictures with the prototype suit, that was nice. That it's a shame. But again, if we continue to do what we're doing, making noise as we continue to do, I'm telling y'all, that Snyderverse is fully cooking in the back behind closed doors. We just don't know it and we don't see it. But all the keys and everything is there because, again, you see Zach is back. You see David Ayer is back. That's already two pieces to the big main frame of the structure that we need for the Snyderverse to be fully restored. We need Zach back. We got him. We need David Ayer back. We got him. So if we got both of these two, what's next? Us, the fans, the support. We're there to make everything happen and come together. And it will. It will. The studio knows that it's going to happen. Probably it's not going to be with the studio themselves. It's probably going to be with, and like I said, that rumor of Comcast. Comcast slash Universal has the potential and they're not in debt like WB. So they can go ahead and do it. And like I said recently, there's a rumor that David Zaslav, wants to sell WB, but he's asking too much for it. That's why you don't see nobody trying to buy him because he wants like triple the cost of what it is. Nobody's going to pay that. They're waiting for the numbers to keep on dropping. And of course, now with James Gunn and his whole reboot and everything, it's going to tank even more. And those stocks will continue to drop. Notice how they keep going low and they stay in the low numbers. They don't go high. But again, it is what it is, and this is what's gonna happen, and there's just no stopping it. You can't give the fans what they don't want. You have to give the fans what they want, because that's the only way that you're gonna win and you're gonna get points with the audience. Even if Superman movie becomes a success, the Snyderverse will still be restored anyway. Yep. Regardless, let's just say that the whole thing with James Gunn is a success, which I highly doubt. Okay, that's fine. Now, if they put on their streaming service the Snyderverse and content of the Snyderverse, live action, let's go. Let's go. And then the numbers will tell them, look, people are watching the Snyderverse more than what James Gunn is putting with his DCU. So in the end, they're going to be like, you know what? We're going to have to can this and continue this. That's the only way to make money and to stay afloat and continue to make profit. And most of all, keep your investors happy. If you don't keep your investors happy, obviously everything's gonna come crumbling, and in the end, it's just gonna affect you. And that's what's been happening to this studio. But let's see what happens, and only time will tell. But again, the power of us, the fans together, us united, we will make it happen. We made it happen before, we're doing it, and we will make it happen again. It's all in due time. Again, remember, we will stop at nothing. That's our motto, because we keep our wallets closed and we send the message. Because when these movies are coming out, we're seeing it right now. Look at all these movies that are tanking at the box office. It's just not DC. It's so many movies that are tanking. Why? Because the quality is not there. That's why. You're not giving the fans what they want. And when studios think that they can give the fans what they feel is best and what is good, most of the time it's not. The fans know exactly what they want. The fans are selective because they know where the quality is. But this is what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna get going. So thank y'all for watching. I know this was a short stream, but again, I just want to talk about those quick stuff, and here we are. So I'll keep y'all posted if anything else comes up and stuff. Y'all stay safe. Thanks again. Hit that subscribe if you're new to the channel, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you on the next one. All right, y'all stay safe, and until next time, peace.